Hey, this is Notser, and this is the Tier 8 Soviet cruiser, Chapayev. He has 37,000 health, a top speed of 33.5 knots, 12 152mm guns, 6 torpedoes, a surface detect of 10.5 kilometers, and 55 AA defense rating. For my modules, reduce crit chance on main armament, improved aiming accuracy, reduce the chance of flood and fire, faster rudder shift, concealment. For my commander, priority target, adrenaline rush, superintendent, demolition expert, inertia fuse, high explosive, and concealment again. We are on the map Hotspot, and look at what the enemy has gifted me. It couldn't be better. For whatever reason, I'm not going to question them. I really appreciate it. They have chosen to kick out so far away from A point that this conveniently protected location just north of A can easily fire flanking shots on multiple battleships, cruisers, even maybe that aircraft carrier if it ever gets close. I don't know why they've chosen to do this, but I'm not going to complain now. The reason this position works so well is the islands obviously are layered, and I also have a nice protective barrier on my eastern flank. So if the enemy, and let's be real, the enemy is not going to do this, if the enemy wants to detect me, they either have to push past the midpoint on the western flank or midpoint at B. They've got to push up really far in order to reveal my location. Now, obviously, if there's radar or some crazy thing like aircraft, I mean, honestly, if those things are involved, that's going to ruin this. But nothing so far, right? And I do a quick check. Is the enemy going to detect me? It's going to take him a while, and we get good damage. We're setting fires, right? We've already done 20,000, and we haven't risked the ship for 1 second. Now, the astute of you might have recognized that I possibly chose to use radar, and I didn't communicate that I was going to do that. So the use was completely wasted. A point was being captured. We know that it was being captured by something that was not a cruiser or a battleship. Right? That's pretty much what you expect when you don't see the person. So I was like, my ship detectability, 10.2. I know that Soviets have 11 point something, 11.5. I don't know off the top of my head right now. I should, of course. I'm just going to use it, and someone on my team is going to take care of him without prompting him to do anything. That sounds really stupid. Yeah. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard, Notser. You know why it's stupid? Because you expect your teammates to do something reasonable. Oh, look, there's a destroyer. He is capturing, well, my teammate is Mickey, obviously. Oh, look, there's an enemy capturing A point. Haha. Let's go after him. Well, no, they don't do that, of course. Nobody was in position. They didn't know you were doing it. Yep. It's a bad call. It's a bad call. It's really in your best interest to use radar predictably, enhancing people who are already doing something, rather than communicating an idea that's going to change their strategy in some way. If I was going to do the same thing, I would need to spell out in detail, team, I'm going to be using radar on the obvious destroyer that's trying to capture A point. Please assist. Maybe they're going to ignore me. Maybe not. But we're never going to know that because stupid Notser chose to use a cooldown without communicating the intent. But we do take out that cruiser. And there are multiple enemy destroyers that lovingly show themselves, and why is there an island? Oh, God. You see it every day. Don't be surprised. But we run into the island again. Yep, I know. Really? You ran into the island? Really? But look at what this guy's doing, okay? He popped his smoke, and he's not stopping for the smoke. What's the point of popping smoke if you're not going to use it? And there's nobody close to use it. I was ready to use my radar the second he stopped. Now, maybe he's like, I know what you want to do, Notser. You want to detect me. That's what I've heard. Soviet and the American cruisers, they've got radar. I don't think he considered that. Honestly, I think he popped his smoke and he didn't know what to do. That's what I think. And we miss out on the kill, but at least a friendly earned an achievement. He got more signal flags for his secondary guns. Right? That's the way to look at it. Not to be frustrated or upset that you did 98% of the damage to the target. No. We're happy. We're happy. So, as a happy cruiser, I'm going to go towards B point and hunt down this destroyer. And conveniently, the enemy's deployment is not going to be very supportive of him. Only the Leander is honestly within touch to assist. The 3 enemy ships on the western flank, the islands are going to block my location, especially, and maybe even the Prince Eugen, as we try to go after the Fubuki. Now, I don't know that that's what the Prince is doing. I did call out my target. I didn't get a confirmation. How do you call out? Its default binding is F3. Use it all the time to focus fire. F5, the default binding for affirmative. That is the best thing. You could also say negative, which is F6, but these hotkeys, use them. They're so useful. I don't know, most of you guys know this. So I was trying to catch up to the enemy Fubuki. He helped me out. He turned back into me. So I'm going to fire my guns. I don't have to worry about anyone but the enemy Fubuki. The last known position of the Leander is behind the island. And predictably, as every destroyer should do, he pops a smoke whenever he's ambushed, and he's trying to hide in it. Well, I'm going to wait until he drops off, and I also do a quick check to see what is the enemy's gun positioning. Is he looking at me? Does he intend to hurt me? Once he is actually completely gone, I pop my radar. Now, you probably want to time it so your guns are fully rearmed, but you still want to use your radar only when you absolutely have to detect the target. And that's what we did. We forced him, well, he forced himself, but he was so afraid that he ran to the island, and I just fired directly at his last known position. If it's a Soviet, just sit there. And of course, we miss out on the kill again. Friendly gets a kill. Great for him. But yeah, if you're going up against a Soviet cruiser, the Soviet cruiser has great range, but a very short window that the radar exists. Don't bail on it unless there's like 8 people. Don't bail on the smoke. Just sit in it. You can't really do that for the Americans. If you're within the American distance, which is 9 kilometers, it's 40 seconds. 30 to 40 seconds. You will die so fast in 40 seconds if you stay stationary. You have to basically bail. And the Leander's taken out. Now, we talked about earlier that the location was nothing spectacular on my part. The enemy just chose a direction to deploy where I could take advantage of. Well, somewhat similar, but I do plan to use the island on my own. I recognize that the enemies are so spread out that they can't help each other detect. This is the only target that's within 15 kilometers. So I'm just going to feather my throttle and stay behind the island. Kind of annoying. Yeah, it is kind of annoying. I'm kind of an annoying cruiser. We set him on fire. He's put the fire out. I'm firing HE because I want to relight that fire. The inertia fuse high explosive. You're not really giving up that much. And you're getting fires on top of somewhere in between an HE, a standard HE shell, and an AP shell. And you can see some of my shells are hitting the island, but I have not been revealed once. That cruiser just south of A, he is a potential target, and I recognize that. I'm trying to pull back as well as keeping the island in between, and you can see the frustration. Look at where these shells went. Yeah, he's trying to fire at us. He knows we're there, but he can't do a thing. I feel so bad for him, because the only solution to this problem is intel from his team. He had to move back immediately if he recognized that I'm just not going to be visible. He probably felt like, I could rotate fast enough around the island. Well, no, you can't. I know how to feather the throttle. It's not hard. You just push W and S. But I like to think that pushing W and S, you got a little touch to it, right? Just a little bit. Half speed, a fourth. Oh, full stop, pull it back. Enemy cruiser is engaging us from the flank, but I don't really care. All I want to do is kill the North Carolina, and we've relit another fire. I believe he has 2 fires on his ship. He should absolutely die, and he does. Now, we've got the island in between ourselves and the shores. The shore isn't the shores. It's a tier 6 or tier 7. Oh man, that's embarrassing, Notser. I don't remember. Okay, it's been a while, but it's a Soviet cruiser, and it's okay. It doesn't have radar. It definitely doesn't have the same range as me. That's sort of one of the things they increase. So it's a good chance if you go to your max range, he's going to have a difficult time engaging you. That's really what the Soviets do. It's pretty straightforward. Go to your max range. Use the high velocity to engage the targets. Force them to be at a disadvantage. And since the enemy cruiser was moving out so fast, I'm going to switch to the enemy battleship. And our team's doing a great job. It's really just maximizing my strengths. What is the best thing about the Chapayev? Well, it's got great gun caliber velocity. The guns itself align very well with inertia fuse high explosive. You can set a lot of fires, even with inertia fuse high explosive. 20 fires, by the way. And I have great concealment, honestly, too. There's not a lot of weaknesses to this ship. Yeah, it's sluggish. Yeah, the torpedo systems are only defensive. It's hard to complain with a ship like this. It really is. If you're a good shooter, you're going to hit the target a lot. You're going to set fires, you're going to do damage. And at this point, I'm just going to try and get as much damage as I can before the game ends. Maybe get some kills. So we're going to move forward. Probably should have done this a little bit earlier. And, this is a big mistake by me. Okay. So, addressing this target. The shores is broadside, obviously. I'm salivating at the idea that I could use AP. And look at what I did right there. I moved the shot too much over to the left. I underestimated the speed he was going. You just took the shot, Notser. And it wasn't even close to the center of the ship. And why would you push it even further? Yeah, it was a mistake. It was a mistake. And now the island's in the way. I can't do it anymore. I don't even think I'm going to get a chance to do one more bit of damage. And I just, whatever. Let's try firing through the island. Nope, it's pretty solid. But thankfully he turns back because there's a lot of friendlies just north of his position. He you know what? I wouldn't go into that either. Keep going. Keep turning. Keep flatten out. Flatten out, please. Of course, the game ends before we're able to do damage there, but not a bad game. A pretty good game in the Chapayev. We earned Confederate, high caliber, 3 kills, 145,000 points of damage done, 2,600 base XP, twice anyone else on our team, 100,000 in main battery, 42,000 in fires, not bad at all. It's really fun. Inertia fuse high explosives, great on the ship. I hope you enjoyed this game. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you next time.